I do not blame you. Do not fear. It will be back to the doom and gloom in a day and a half. But let's talk about form technique in your pelvic floor. And even if you don't have pelvic floor issues, I really feel like retrospectively, when I look back, early in my career, had I taken advantage better of this core bracing concept with the pelvic floor and how the diaphragm all work together to provide strength and stability, I think it is often the missing link in those with those chronic nagging pains. So regardless of a specific pelvic floor dysfunction, I truly feel that. Now let's apply those concepts to proper running form, and then what you get is less injury, more stability and strength, and then you also are a more efficient runner, so you can run faster with less effort because we are taking advantage of some of these concepts. So remember, to use the diaphragm pelvic floor concept, we need to stack the rib cage over the pelvis. So in running form, for the diaphragm to connect to the pelvic floor, we want a very slight curve in our low back. So running form looks like a very slight curve with a forward lean. And so it feels exaggerated as you try to stand there and figure out what that looks like. But what I often cue into is that it can be as subtle as your rib cage just tipping up slightly, where it should actually be stacked over top. And then when we take a nice diaphragm breath, 360, expand, and the belly falls back in on exhale, then that entire time. So remember, the more we can take a diaphragm breath, the more air that we can bring in, the more that saturates the blood cells in your body, the more it provides O2 to working muscles, which is advantageous for being an efficient and fast runner, or just overall improving your fitness. So that is the key to trying to learn how to diaphragm breathe when you're running. And also just to say that you're always diaphragm breathing because that's how we breathe. But when we upper chest breathe more, we're not getting as much descent of the diaphragm. And so we're not getting as much O2. We're using accessory muscles of the neck, which could create neck pain. And those are supposed to stabilize. And then we should really be breathing in and out. And then again, that correlates to the fact that that will also lengthen and contract with the pelvic floor to provide stability with the core as well. All right, so let's wrap this up. If the idea is to keep this stacked, what are some really good things you need to key in? Well, the further your stride is away from your body, the more that's actually going to throw that off. So if I have a really long, sweeping stride, I'm probably going to bring my chest up to compensate to maintain my balance over my center of gravity. The further away that heel reaches from your center of gravity, the more forces travel up that chain, the more that creates injury. Something else is going to have to absorb that shock or take over for trying to maintain that stability. So ideally, feet actually lay right underneath you, forefoot or midfoot strike. And then this idea of a forward lean helps keep you in this propulsion where you're not using as much muscular energy to reach and pull with the leg, but that you're actually just kind of using momentum to kind of continue to carry you forward. And that's where you get less muscle use, more O2 from diaphragm breathing, more efficiency, faster times. There you go.